It is opening morning of youth season here in North Carolina, and we're on National Forest. We're on Pisgah National Forest this morning. We tried to go to another area yesterday, but it was too high elevation and the birds were not there. There was still snow on the ground, 4 inches of snow in the shady spots. So we backed out of there and just decided to pick a random spot on the Pisgah National Forest and try to get my son Marcus his second bird. He got a bird 2 years ago on Youth Day, and we didn't get lucky last year, but we're gonna go in here and hopefully we'll be the first ones here. We got a long way to walk down a forest road, and then we're gonna kind of just pick a spot to listen from a high point. I don't know, hopefully we'll have some luck and there's nobody parked here. We're getting close to the pull-off now, but hopefully there's nobody parked here already. Well, there were hunters at the pull-off where we were trying to go. Now we're trying to kind of race back to the other pull-off that we just passed a minute ago that there was nobody at. So we are going to be hunting blind this morning. There were 2 guys and a youth at the other pull-off, so that means we were probably going to be in a good spot. I'm sure they had probably roosted a bird in there last night or something. So we've kind of struck out so far. There's no birds back in here gobbling whatsoever. We're gonna head back out towards the truck, see if we can strike something up back towards the truck. If we can't do that, we're gonna head up the dirt road and kind of just stop and call every so often from some good high points. But hunting season's getting strange. I don't know if you could hear that, but we just got one to answer us. He's probably on private, isn't he, Spencer? But he liked what he heard, so. How far's the line down through there? We can't go all the way to this bird, but we might be able to get him. If we can get close enough, we might be able to get him to break and come up here. So, that's the first bird we've heard, so.
I don't know, we got about 250, 300 yards straight line.
Yep.
It sounded like he's on this same reach down in here, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He answered right back.
Oh yeah.
He didn't cut me off, but he answered. I can't pinpoint exactly where he's at. He's somewhere right in here.
Yep.
He's coming, Marcus. Let's get set up. He's coming, Marcus. Marcus, he may come straight up through there. Oh crap. Hey, make sure you can shoot. Look. Make sure you can shoot from there to there.
not cool.
Can't make it up the hill. So it is Sunday morning. It's the second day of youth turkey season in North Carolina, and we can't hunt them public. So I got a buddy that's out of state. He's in Texas with the Air Force, and he's got some private land not far from our house, and we're up here hunting it. I hunted it 4 or 5 years ago, and there were birds here, but they kind of stayed on the neighbor's property. Hopefully today that will not be the case. He's got a bottom down in the middle of this valley that's a good place for the turkeys to go down mid-morning and strut and feed, and we're going to head down towards that area and try to be down there at daylight and see if we can hear any birds gobbling.
So we hadn't heard anything. We've been set up for about 45 minutes, and we're walking out the property. And about 200 yards on the neighbor's property, 2 different gobblers that roosted together. They sounded off just for a second. It could have been 2 jakes, I don't know. I didn't hear them real good, but we're going to call at them right quick and see if they'll come over onto our property. Pretty good ways off. So we got these birds coming at us. We think they're going to come right down this field right here, and we're going to try to get a shot right below us. We're afraid to move any closer because they're right up here on the other end of this field. They wouldn't answer us for a long time. All of a sudden I hit the call and they started moving this way. But for 3 or 4, I called 3 or 4 times and they wouldn't answer. And then when we were leaving, they answered and gobbled 3 or 4 times. Sounded like they were coming this way. He's moving to the left where I said to shoot him at. He's down there if you want to take him. He's going across the creek. He's a little too far. They were all jakes. A couple of them had pretty nice beards for jakes, but Marcus decided to let them go. He wants to kill something bigger. Don't move, Marcus, don't move. So we still got 3 jakes walking around below us here. I thought it might be jakes when we first heard them gobble. Marcus don't want to shoot a jake. He shot a jake 2 years ago. Although those have nicer beards than the one he shot 2 years ago.
Three nice toms. Only about a mile from my private land. Maybe they'll work their way over there. I might go hunt over there tomorrow. Oh, that one on the left's got a nice beard. So it's the 4th day of youth season here in North Carolina, and me and my son Marcus here. Say hey, Marcus. We're trying to get him a bird this morning. We hunted some private land Sunday. Could have taken some jakes, and he passed them up. He took a jake a couple years ago. He's wanting a longbeard this morning. So we come up, we kind of struck out on all the private land this weekend. We checked everything out. There really wasn't any birds anywhere on the private land that we got permission to hunt. So we came up, we're on the Pisgah National Forest, and we're at a spot we checked out late in the day, Saturday on opening day. We just kind of came in here and looked around for a couple hours, and there was a lot of sign in here. We could tell there were a lot of birds in the area. So the plan is we're going to sneak down to the head of a big holler that's got a creek running down through it, and we're going to follow that creek all the way to the back where it comes out into a big bottom down in there. There's a private bottom down in there, and I think there'll be birds roosted somewhere on the mountainside above that bottom, and the bottom's private, but we're going to try to get in between. If the birds are talking this morning, we're going to try to get in between the birds and where they're going to come down the mountain and go to that private land, and hopefully we'll get a shot on something before it gets down there if they're vocal this morning. So that's the plan. We're going to sneak in. When we get in there close, we'll probably have to turn our lights off, but there's a full moon today, so hopefully we'll get in there and get in some birds.
So we just got set up. We're about 40 yards from the private land line, and we got a bird goblin. It's 6:25. We got a bird goblin on the private, but he's just right on the private. We're going to try to call him in. Hopefully we'll get this bird over here. He's very talkative this morning. We went through thick stuff for 600-700 yards, and now we're in, it's like a little bit of open hardwoods. The last 40 yards to the private, some open hardwoods, and I got 2 ridges coming down right here together. It's a good spot to sit all morning, even if we can't get him over here first thing. Chance that bird might come in here. I don't hear anybody else calling at him, so far no interference. I'm just glad there's a bird in here. So we're right up on the line. The birds have slipped off, and he's gobbling as he goes away from us up over the hill. We'll probably give it a little bit longer, listen to where he goes, but we can't move on him any closer. He's got at least 4 hens with him. We watched 3 of them fly down. I couldn't get it on film, but they flew down within 40 yards of us, flew right down to our calling, and flew to the edge of the woods, but they were never on public at all. There's a bird in the middle of the field. Okay, my son says there's a bird in the middle of the field still. We might be trapped up here on this ridge. We kind of popped over a ridge to where we could look down on top of the field. We'll just have to, there he goes. We'll just have to see what they do. it's 11:30. They're within 70, 80 yards all the time. And we've only had one of them come into legal gun range here. The line is about 15 yards from that field. And I know that because I've looked it up on overhead maps, but there's no posted signs or anything. That we're hoping that before it gets too hot, they'll come into the woods right here and scratch around. I can't believe they've been out there for 5 hours and none of them have come in the woods except one hen. And she about busted us, but they're all out there feeding around still, and we're gonna wait till about 12, at least 12, before we give up on them. So it's 12:30. We just finally pulled off of those birds. The 2 big toms and 2 hens were left, and they got right to the line several times. We could not coax them into the woods. Anyways, we know where they're at. So maybe we'll come back after them sometime this week. Maybe they'll come into the woods next time, but we're on the way out and we're done for today. So it's about 5 o'clock in the morning. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, and we're back on the Pisgah National Forest today. Yesterday we were near a private land field, hoping that they would be roosted on public and we could intercept them coming from the roost to the field, but it didn't work. They flew down right to the field, wouldn't come off of it, had hens with them. Today we're trying the opposite. We're walking 2 miles in the middle of nowhere. There's one field in this area. There's some small fields, but there's one kind of large field, but it's a long walk. We're gonna get in here near it and try to find some birds that are roosted near this field and kind of get as close as we can after we hear them. They ought to be gobbling this morning. We don't have high wind or anything, and it should be a good morning. So we've never been here before. This will be a new experience, and we decided to go to somewhere new every day this week just for fun, to mix things up a little bit. We just had a bird gobble up above us. I don't know how far he is, but we're gonna try to ease that way, see if we can get a little closer.